to another episode of my Musings podcast. I'm your host, Google Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Saturday for another amazing episode. So, on today's episode, I'm going to be musing about my birthday this year. For those who do not know, I just turned 36 on the 27th of April, and I just wanted to talk about that day. I know birthdays are supposed to be happy days. You know, you wake up and you just feel so happy because you've accomplished something and you're turning a new year. You're supposed to be grateful to God because, you feel like, oh yeah, I've just turned these years and I'm so happy about it. I've accomplished blah, 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 blah. But that was not me. Honestly, I wasn't even going to talk about my birthday, like at all. It's just that on the 26th, I was talking to my grandma on the phone, and then it hit midnight while we were talking. And I was like, yeah, so it's my birthday. She was the first person to wish me a happy birthday at midnight on the 27th, like midnight. And I was like, okay. So I thought about it. And after we hung up, I was like, should I talk about it or should I just let it go? Because I was like, I know Facebook will remind some people that it's my birthday. But do I have to talk about it? Because I didn't want to. Like, I've accomplished nothing. I have nothing. I was broke. I am broke and all of that. So I was like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to celebrate it. I don't want to alert people to the fact that it's my birthday. Because what do I have to show for it? Nothing. Um, yo, I was like, I've accomplished nothing. I have nothing to celebrate, honestly. I know I keep on being told that there's a reason why you're alive. God is still keeping you for a reason. And I'm like, what reason? Because I don't see it. And so that day I was like, okay. So I just wrote on my WhatsApp, like, happy birthday to me or whatever. And something like, I think M-Pesa gifts are highly recommended or something like that, which I got none, by the way. But yeah, people are broke or people just don't want to. It's okay. It's their money. It's fine. But then I went to bed, woke up the next day, and Safaricom, of course, had wished me happy birthday. They gave me 1 GB free, and I was supposed to, I don't know, the calls I would make that day were for 1 bob. That is the only gift I got on my birthday this year. Like, the only present I got was from Safaricom giving me 1 GB. So, of course, I switched on the bundles, and usually in the past on my birthdays I'll wake up and I'll go to Facebook. Even if I don't know what had happened, I will just go to Facebook and see, because I knew Facebook would remind people that it's my birthday that day. And so people would be wishing me a happy birthday. I will go there and write something, oh, today is my birthday. I don't feel like celebrating, or it's my birthday. I'm so happy, blah, 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 whatever the mood I was in. This time I did not do that. I just switched on the bundles and I got messages from a couple of, I think, I got 2 messages actually. One of them was from my brother. The other one was from a friend of mine, somebody I respect so much. Just the 2. Those are the first ones that I got. In the course of the day, I got, I think in total, from Facebook and on WhatsApp, in total were 10 wishes. Even after writing on my WhatsApp, funny thing is that a lot of people were seeing that on my status on WhatsApp, because I saw the views were very many. But happy birthdays. Even after that, I think a cousin of mine sent me a message later in the day, and I think 2-3 more people. Like, it was just a mere day. But anyway, that was not the story I wanted to tell. I had already decided that I needed to go to transfer my details for my voting for next year's elections, because I was in Karura ward. So I was supposed to be voting at City Park. And I wanted to change it because I'm in Kasarani. I didn't want to wake up and go and vote all the way there. So I needed to change. And I've been telling myself, I need to go and do this. I need to go and do this. I need to go and do this. And time just kept on going. I remember a week or 2 weeks to the deadline. Actually, 2 weeks to the deadline. I remember going online and seeing that 14 days are remaining to the stop, like to the end of registrations. And I was like, okay, I kept it at the back of my mind. I knew that those people were around our area, Kasarani maternity area. And I remember asking somebody downstairs, like, well, are these people still around? And he was like, alas for you, I didn't ask him again. I just didn't follow up, but I followed up with another person who told me that I have to go to a place, it's UDO's office in Kasarani, Seasons area, Ukoju. And I was like, okay. So when I was asking, it was on Friday. I was in bed and I was like, okay, do I go today? Do I just get out of bed and go? But I was like, no, if I do that now, I'll have to take a shower and then go. It will be too late. So I was like, no, I won't go today. I didn't know if they work on Saturdays. I tried to Google, but there was no information of them working on Saturdays, or I was Googling it wrong. I don't know. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll wake up on Monday and go. And even while I was planning, I knew that it was going to be my birthday. Because even as I was talking to my grandma on Sunday night, I told her, tomorrow I'm going. So I wake up on Monday and I'm like, I took a shower late last night so that today, Monday, I can wake up and just go. So I woke up, brushed my teeth, of course, washed my face, blah, blah, blah. Did not eat anything. I started looking for my ID. I knew where it was, but I had the voter's card from the last time, the one that I was given when I registered the first time. I had that. So I was looking for it because I thought it was going to be needed for the transfer. When I tell you I wasted an entire hour looking for this card, it was not even funny. I was like, I remember saying it. I looked at all the passes that I have, nothing. Until I checked one that the last time I used it was in 2023 when I last went into an office for work. And I was like, yo, that's why I got it. And I got it after I was giving up. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm done doing this. Then I told myself, just check in this one bag. Maybe it could be there. And I found it there. I left my house at 2. I was broke, so I did not have fare. I did not have any money on me. It's on my birthday. Had nothing. I've never prayed for somebody to just remember me and send me money. Okay, I have. Because I've had moments where I've been super, super broke like I was on that day. And this was my birthday and I had zero. Like in my M-Pesa, I had nothing. Where? Where? I had nothing in my M-Pesa. I was super broke. So my phone was fully charged and I just took my earphones and I left the house at 2. I checked, because I have bundles, I checked the weather forecast. When I went outside, the sky, it was like cloudy. Like it was just, the weather was downcast. Like it wasn't sunny. It wasn't like dark clouds. It was just like, I don't know. It was just calm. And so I was like, you know what? If I go there right now, I'll be able to be back here by 4. I checked the weather forecast and it tells me that, rain will start at around 7 p.m. So I'm like, okay, I don't know why I believe the Kenyan Met Department, but I did. I call a friend of mine who lives here and I'm like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? He goes like, yeah. But then when I tell him what I'm going to do, he changes his mind. He goes like, yeah, that's too far. It wasn't too far. I knew he said no, it was because of what I was going to do. And maybe he has gone through the process or whatever, or he just didn't want to be near that process or whatever. I don't know. But I know it was not because it's far, because it wasn't far. It's not that far. If I walk there under 30 minutes and he's taller than me, I'm sure it will have been okay. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I go by myself. I decide to walk and I'm like, okay. I walk and I go to where I had been told they were going to be. I find some IBC people out there, and I'm like, hey, where do I go if I want to transfer my details? And they tell me, oh, if it's transferring, you go to the chief's office. Do you know where it is? I'm like, no. She tells me, just go up to the end of that road. I'm like, okay. I continue walking. Left the house at 2 p.m., got to that post at 2:20 something, got to the chief's office by 2:35 thereabout. And so by the time I'm arriving, I'm seeing the gate to the chief's office and I see a line. And I'm like, where I was, these people were registering afresh. There were like less than 10 people there and there were 2 tables that were doing the job and it was moving. That would have been faster. But where I'm going to transfer, there's a long ass line. And I'm like, am I really going to do this? But I'm looking at the clock and it's still 2:30 something. I'm like, this will be done quickly, because if the lines are moving quickly, it will be done. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, while walking through this path, how many people have I met coming back from the chief's office? How many? And honestly, I think there were 2 or 1. And so I'm like, so this line is not moving. I get there and like you pretend, hi. So if I want to do the transfer, which line am I supposed to go? Yeah, she tells me this one. I walk back and I'm looking at the front and I'm like, these people are less than 50 people. I think they were even less than 30, but I was like less than 50 people. I go at the back of the line and I stand there, still 230 something, and I'm like, okay, sawa, let's see. There's somebody who had, I call them bushoris, but this, because it's not like an ini, I don't know what to call them. Like it's a Marvin, but it's a funny kind. So it looks like a bushori. So I was looking at that guy with the bushori and I was like, if that one moves, I'll know that at least this line is moving. Believe you me, it go to 3, it go to 3:30. That person had not got in, and he was amongst the first 10 people on that line when I got there. So it starts getting sunny at around 3. I move from the line, go to the sides because it was a little bit cooler. After some time, it starts changing. So I have earphones and I was listening to Pablo Alboran. I love Spanish music. So I was listening to Pablo Alboran and the music was a little bit loud because I was trying to cancel out the noise around me. By the way, walking there, it was not tired. I started getting tired because I was standing on the line there. That is what got me tired. My feet were killing me. I was so like, I didn't want to stand, but the places to sit were the corridors of that area, and it was just no. And so I tried to move my body a little bit, move my feet, so try to walk in place so that at least I can lie to my body that I'm doing something so that I'm not so tired. And then I hear the thunder through, even though the music is loud, and I'm like, yo. I remove one of them. The skies have changed. It's now downcast again. And there's thunder. And I'm like, oh my God. People were coming, still lining up behind us. And they will come, wait for like 5 minutes. The line is not moving. They go. Again, some more will come. There's this group of people. I don't know where they were coming from. I think they were coming from work. And they decided to come, all of them at once. And they did. And they left again because that line was not moving. So when these people see that the line, the weather is changing and it's almost 4 p.m., now they start working quickly. That guy with the boshori finally goes in and the line finally moves. Then the weather again, it's getting darker, like so they decide to count us because there's a form you have to fill fast, and then there's a book you have to write your name, and then they take your fingerprints and they take a photo of you and your irises, like a lot of things. So this line starts moving after they see time is moving and the weather is changing, and they also want to go home. So they start rushing a little bit. We go back on the line and they give us numbers. I was number 22. So that you can know, like, the people who are ahead of me, they were less than 50 and they were less than 30. Because if it was number 22, the people who had left since I got there were less than 10. Less than 10, but the line was not moving at all. So I don't know what was happening. So once this happened, they give us numbers and they go up to number 50 something at the back. Then this lady, instead of thinking and going inside to help the people who are inside to do this thing quickly, she goes and starts giving the people at the back these forms that you're supposed to fill. And so us in the middle, we are complaining and like, why are you giving the forms to the people at the back? Because the weather is changing, those people will still have to wait until we are served because we're ahead of them. But what is happening? Kenyans being Kenyans, they start making jokes, blah, blah, blah. And so it starts raining. And it wasn't just normal rain, it was hailstones. Like, it was raining stones. And you are like, what the hell is this? So we start running towards that office where the ABC people were. And it's a tiny room, but it had stairs inside of it. And people are yelling, like, can you go up the stairs? Go up the stairs. We have to squeeze into this space, all of us. And so all of us, 50 people, we all get into this room and squeeze into it. And it's not just us who are 50, because remember the IEBC people are also there. And there are tables in there, the way they have organized them for, the process, how you are supposed to go around the room. So we couldn't fill those spaces. Like, it was just chaotic. While we're there, the lights go off because it's raining in Kenya. A government office that does not have power backup. No solar panels, no generator, no nothing. Kenyans start complaining, and Kenyans being Kenyans, they were hilarious. Like the things they were saying. There was a photo of Ruto on the wall smiling, and they're like, look at this man smiling at us. Like, ona Ruto, any Ruto anatuchekea hapa na ndo tunapanga laini yani kwenda kumpatia kazi ama kumtoa kwa hiyo ofisi. Like hawajui tunataka kumtoa, and then they yell the one time thing. Everybody starts laughing and people say, you can hear a couple of people saying one time, one time. It was hilarious. And then they just start making jabs at him, like making jokes about the president, which was funny. Everybody was laughing in that room. And it was tiny and the door has been locked because that rain was raining. Like it was bad. It was heavy rain. Heavy rain. Somebody even tried to lock the window and we yelled at her not to. Because what do you mean you're locking the window and this room is tiny? And then somebody shouts and says, like, if just one person in this room had COVID, like mtu tu mmoja kwa hilo mangekuwa na COVID, sisi wote kwisha. And it was just hilarious. By the way, I was tired because of the standing, and it was my birthday. Because I remember even when the weather was getting gloomy and stuff, my mind started reeling. I started going to that dark place where I was like, again, I've just turned 36 and what do I have to show for it? Like, look at my life. It's so sad. Look at where I'm spending my birthday. Like, what is this? I should be even just taking myself for a movie or a date, or like a movie date, or, going somewhere and sitting down in a restaurant and just eating. If I had friends, who cared enough, or they had the money, they would like do a surprise party for me. I started wishing for things that I just knew that I didn't have and I didn't know how to get. And so once the rain started raining and we went into this room, all those dark things, they went to the back of my mind because it was just now hilarious. And then the IABC people were going into another office inside there. People started asking for tea. Somebody said, hiyo ofisi mnaingia huko ndani mnakunywa chai ama mnafanya nini huko? Tunataka chai, tupeni chai. This guy kept asking for tea. Like, tupeni tu chai. Najua mnakunywa chai huko ndani, tupeni tu. Yani hamna chai ya wageni. It was funny. People were just laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And then making people, like, they would tell us to go outside and the men were like, we wasichana wataharibu nywele, like unataka wasichana wetu waende nje kuharibu nywele? Like, no way are our ladies going outside to ruin their hair. And I had mine just like combed to the back and tied with a hairband and stuff because I didn't have the money to go and make it and stuff. So I was like, I don't care. As long as they look decent and I would look okay for the photo, like the one they take of you. I was like, I don't care how I look exactly. I really, really don't care. Because it's not like a beauty session that you're going to do or whatever. So anyway, one person goes like, Ebu, tuamini na tuombe, ndo hii stima irudi. After he says that the first time and people start laughing, and then he waits a moment and then he goes like, we, tuamini. The whole place goes quiet. Like Kenyans, they're prayerful, man. The whole place goes quiet, and then less than 5 seconds, I kid you not, the lights came back on. Even one of the ladies for ABC was like, yo, huyo ni nani? Huyo ni pastor? Like, what is this? You just say tuamini na tuombe and then the lights come back. And then it was like, suseme tu tuamini na tu nini kwe one time na kwe hivo. And it was just funny. The entire time, it was crazy. Then it goes off now. Because when the lights went off, the Wi-Fi also went off. Now that the lights have come back, the Wi-Fi is not working. Somebody went into the inner office to work on it. Finally, it came back. And then they started the process again. Now they're like, okay, if you're willing to go back out into the rain, because now it was drizzling, not raining the way it was before, they tell us, just go back outside, stand in the rain, and then we'll go back to doing this. So the numbers that we have been given will start from number 1. But remember, there are people from the back who had been given forms. So they're like, utakuwa na forms, mzilete kwanza pa msende nazo kwa mvua. You think those people are going to leave? Imagine somebody who came after me, who came at 3 something, who came at 4 something. They are going to get their chance before I do, who I came at 4. There's somebody who was saying that they came there at 10 or something. Like, what were these people doing from morning? Oh, apparently the machines were problematic from the morning. Yo. Anyway, We try to go back outside. The people whose forms had already been filled from the back, they refused to leave that place. And so we start complaining outside there because, like, we were given numbers. I'm number 22. If I have to wait for number 50 something to be nini ahudumiwe kwanza before me, and they came while I was there, it would just be so unfair. So people started talking and telling people, if you are behind, so that person was dressed like this, tell them to get out. So there's this guy who was a pastor. Apparently he was in white and black. He had a white shirt and black trousers, and he wanted to stay in there. They were like, that man was number 50 something, let tell him to get out. At he's a pastor, we do not care that he's a pastor, let him get out. There's this other guy who had come like later, he did not even line up. And then he was the one who was like suggesting to the IBC people that we should write our names down, and then the next day go back the next day, and as long as we say our names and numbers from the day before, they should give us first priority. Because he knew he had come late. There are people who had come there in the morning. I had come at 2 and I was complaining. And this guy had come, I think, at 4 something. And he had started quarreling with this boy who had been at the front of the line. Because he asked him a question, the boy answered him. And he was like, unaniongelesha hivyo kwa nini? Kwani unanijibu aje, nakuuliza tu swali mzuri? And the men who were at the front of the line with this boy had to tell him, stop. The boy is telling you the truth. The answer that he's given you is the right answer. And he started mimicking them. And that man was just disgusting. And then he was complaining. He was the one who suggesting that we go back home. We leave this people for IBC to go home because it's 5 already. And then we'll come the next day after leaving our names. And hey, yo. I was like, I'm not walking all the way again. Because remember, I did not have fare. I had walked all the way. I was going to walk back home in the rain. And then again, I do the same thing the next day. And it was going to be the final day now because Kenyans wait for the final day. That place is going to be full. Some people were complaining to the IBC. I love that some Kenyans were like, yo, it's not their fault that you came late. This process has been going on for months and you're only coming today because the deadline is tomorrow. So stop blaming the IBC people. I was like, okay, good. I love that the people who were there, they were rational and all everything. They were thinking, But something that caught me is when we went back outside waiting for our numbers to be called, there's somebody who said, and this was very sad, he said, like, imagine you are lining up here in the rain, trying to fight your fellow Kenyans to get in there fast so that you can get your voting card or whatever, so that you can go and give somebody a job. And then you will line up again next year to go and actually employ someone, and then somebody yelled, and you yourself, you do not have a job. And they're like, yeah. And then they went like, and then after you give them the job, they will enter into office and start stealing from you who do not have a job, and you lined up hungry and got rained on just to go and get them a job. That hit home. I felt tears just coming to my eyes because I was like, again, it's my birthday, have no money, walked here to come to line up to get this card so that I can give somebody a job next year, and they will not even remember me after I give them the job. And even if I meet them on the roads, I will go like, Moshimiwa. Depending on who it is, they may just ignore me. Like, that hit home. Like, the reality of what we were doing hit home when that boy said it out loud. Because it was like, yeah, true. That's exactly what is happening. Anyway, lined up, finished, went in, got my chance. I was because I remember hearing number 16, but then the people who are behind me were already squeezing it. Because I'm short and most of those people are tall, I had to push my way inside so that after number 20, I was amongst those people, and the people who were behind me, walihudumiwa after me. I made sure of that because I was like, yeah, no, because you're taller than me, you're pushing, and you want to get the priority. No, you will do it after me. But this time it was moving quicker. I was like, if all of these people were inside from the morning, these lines could have moved faster. If by the time I arrived, they would have been doing what they were doing at that time, it would have gone faster. Because all of them were inside there working simultaneously. This one was doing this one was doing this one. But before, what were they doing? Two people were outside writing, helping people fill the forms. But now that it was raining, people are filling the forms inside. We had two people at the table filling the forms. You go there, you write your name, and you fill your form. So people are doing the filling of the forms, and two people are taking the fingerprints and the photos and stuff. It was moving faster. But before they weren't doing that. So why were they slacking before? Just, wasting time until it gets to 4 or 5 and then they leave. Hey, but Kenyans were like, we are not going anywhere. But anyway, they were so hilarious. They made me laugh and I'm so grateful. There was just one woman who annoyed me because we were there lining up, being rained on and everything. This woman was selling ice cream. You know those people, they cut the box selling ice cream. And then she goes like, she tells me, because while we were hiding from the rain inside the office, she was right beside me. And she goes like, I cannot do this. I don't know why people are wasting their time doing this. Hmm? You mean you come here and you line up the whole day only for you to go and vote? I cannot vote for anybody. Why would I waste my time voting for anybody? Waste my time. And I'm like, you are selling ice cream for the people who are lining up. Do you know you can come in the morning and do this before anybody else? When you come to start selling your ice, you can check where you are on the line and be like, okay, after this person goes, I can still sell ice cream. Go inside with your box, take your card, and then leave. I just told her no. Like with the government that we have right now, and we are saying you must go, must go. And somebody is telling me that room that she cannot waste her time to take a card to go and vote. And she's telling me, like, why are you wasting your time? I was like, no, you have to vote. Hapa hakuna mtu, why? Hata hakuna kitu tabadilika. And I know, because I didn't vote during the last elections. And I had my reasons, because I didn't want to vote for anybody who was vying. Nobody. I looked at all those candidates and I was like, no, I do not want any of those people to be my president. I would have voted for Rao, but when he aligned himself with Nani Uhuru, I was like, yeah, no. And of course, I was not going to vote for Ruto. So nobody who was on that ballot box I wanted as my president. And I know either way, I still failed and I'm still suffering because of them. But I was just not going to do that. But this time, with everything that is happening, we want changes. And this lady is telling me that she cannot waste her time. Ati nikose kuuza ice cream zangu, nikuje kupanga pale. And I'm like, unaweza kuja na hizo ice cream zako uuze, bado follow line. Na uendelee kuuza after. So she kept quiet. She stopped talking to me and she started talking to another lady who completely ignored her because what the hell? But anyway, I was served and I left the place at around 5:40 something, I think, 5:42. I left with, drizzling. It was still drizzling outside. Walked in the rain all the way back home. I was tired by the time I got back home. Like really, really tired. And then my period started while I was on the way. My cramps usually like I get a backache, like lower back pain. And that started while I was walking back home. So you can understand I'm being rained on and I have lower back pain and my legs are tired. But I just foresee myself. Anyway, while I was walking, I wasn't feeling like my legs were in pain. It's the standing that was making me feel tired. But while I was walking, I was okay. I was still listening to music, by the way. I was on the road walking. I had a kikoi that I had covered my head with. And my sweater was getting soaked, but the inside, I was not like wet on the inside. Did not get a cold or anything. I thank God for that. I walked to I remember after, just nearing my house, I was seeing my building. That's when my body just got tired. It did that thing where you have been like, you didn't feel like peeing at all. Like, you have to go to pee, but it wasn't bad. And then you start seeing your building and then it starts coming. And by the time you're opening your door, you're dancing because it just wants to come out. That's what was happening to me with being tired. Like as soon as I saw my building, I was like, oh, the final mile or whatever you want to call it. How I felt tired. My legs started like being in pain and everything. Yo. But anyway, I got home, warmed some water, took a quick bath, and then got dressed. I didn't even cook supper that day. I just sat down, put my feet up, and I relaxed in the house. I remember what I ate that day was bread. Like I made avocado and tomato sandwich. That's what I ate with strong tea. Because, yeah, I had unga, I had veggies in the fridge. Like, I didn't know how to start to make ugali. So I was like, you know what? This is what I'll eat. And remember, I had not eaten the whole day. That's the only thing I ate on my birthday. Watched TV until I fell asleep and I was just going to bed. I was tired. And I think the painkiller I took for my lower back pain helped with the tiredness because I did not wake up with leg pain the next day as I thought I would. So, yeah, that was my birthday this year. It was not the best, but at least I was with some Kenyans, strangers, yes. They did not know that it was my birthday or anything, but they made me laugh a lot. And I appreciate that. Like, you have to take the little things, the little joys of life. So that's what I did. I decided to take the little joys, and I was like, yeah, a win is a win. Anyway, I transferred my voting station. I hope that it will show up because I tried checking the next day if it had been transferred and it's still saying Karura Ward, like City Park. So I told myself I'll give it some time before I check again. So I don't know. Maybe by the time this will be coming out, I would have. But yeah, if I won't have, I don't know. But anyway, I can call them and ask them about it. But that will be a future problem, just as long as they transfer before next year comes. Because what I do not want to happen is that they don't transfer my details. And then I cannot also go to Karura because they'll tell me that no, I'm not registered there, blah, blah, blah. I changed. I do not want that chaos. And I'm afraid that most Kenyans might face that if they do not transfer, because I saw a couple of people asking online, like, yeah, I went to transfer my details, but I checked and it still says this in this place. So I hope that it will have been transferred by then, hopefully. But yeah, that's how I spent my birthday. Yeah, it wasn't the best. And I got emotional a lot on that day. But Kenyans made me laugh. Strangers in that room, they made me laugh. The jokes, some I don't even remember, but they were hilarious at the time. And they just got me to stop thinking about the misery that I'm living. And I appreciated that a lot. So, yeah, that is how the day went. I have to say, I'm sorry for everybody who watched the Queen of Catway review. I do not know what happened. I loaded those photos while I was editing on CapCut. The photo that had the problem was the photo that I used for the thumbnail. And I replaced it. The others were okay. I replaced it every place that it was supposed to be. I replaced it and it was fine. Finished the whole thing, watched it back after I exported it to the laptop. I watched it. They were all there. Uploaded it to YouTube and it wasn't there. So I don't know if it was a problem with copyright and they just chose to remove it or what happened, because the copyright that I got is usually for the music that I use, the intro and outro. I usually get a copyright, but it's the type of copyright that I'm allowed to use on YouTube. So it's okay. Like if I was monetizing the channel, they wouldn't have a problem with it. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I was watching it after it came out now last Wednesday, the other Wednesday, like last week. I was watching it and I was like, what's happening? What happened? I saw it. It happened, I think, twice or three times. And I was shocked. So I'm so sorry about that. I really, really do not know what happened. I can't explain it. But yeah, so I'm going to leave it at this. I need to go to bed because it's already 2:17 a.m. I need to go to bed and then wake up tomorrow and edit these shows and put them on YouTube. So just pray for me that I keep this up, because honestly, I'm getting tired with everything to do with just life. I just don't want to do anything. But yeah, I hope that I keep at it and that you're going to keep coming and listening to me. If you have listened up to this moment, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Continue listening. Tell a friend to subscribe if they haven't. Subscribe yourself if you haven't. Remember that I'm still baking, so if you want, you can make an order and I'll deliver it to you. If you want to have a meal plan made for you, please tell me. I'll do that at a fee. And if you want me to make your meals, I'll do that as well at a fee. And yeah, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, Musings Podcast. And come back here, comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people to come and watch. Okay?